All right, Lumi Bro Nation, we made it. This is the end of our season 13 Blitz. Guys, we've got John Bankett out here. This is crazy. You know, senior vice president. You guys have seen every single go on the doors with us all year, season 1 through 13. But now we get to knock with the infamous John Bankett. So I'm super stoked, guys. We're about to learn some word tracks here. Let's get it.
Let's go. First off, on the street, I'm looking for lowest hanging fruit. So of course we saw the door was open, so I know I'm gonna come here because obviously I'm not wasting my time. Someone's obviously home looking for signs of life. Usually there's vehicles, right? But in this case, the door's open. But yeah, I stand back, try to be non-threatening, try to get them to answer the door. Hey, how's it going? How are you doing? I was admiring some of your decorations. I knocked on your door and then heard you back here. Nice to meet you, my name's John. Well, awesome. Well, the reason I was swinging by is we're following up with people about the smart meter rollback plan. Essentially what happens, we're actually right here by your meter. So what's happening right now, a lot of people since the freeze have really been looking into this because it's the freeze about a year, almost we're going on 2 years. Since the freeze, there's been a lot of rates that have gone up. You know, it used to be, you know, bills were pretty consistent, but now since the freeze, they're having to fix the grid. They're putting a lot of money into the infrastructure. So rates have gone up. And the cool part is there's actually some pretty good incentives right now to where with the meter rollback plan, it's set up to where your meter, it actually runs backwards. So it's pretty cool. I'm sure you've seen driving around, you probably have seen some of those little black panels on some of the homes around here. Right. You've seen a few of those? Yeah. What we do, I'm not very intelligent on that. We have a couple of energy specialists that come by and kind of show you more or less how much savings or what owning would look like. But our whole goal is to make it to where those lines, they run backwards. Those little black panels that you've seen around, what they do is they capture the sun's energy and send it down here, and they allow the meter to run backwards. So it's really, really simple. So my job is really, really simple. I set up a time where they could come by and leave you with, it's a free of charge, just come show you what it would look like and what your savings would be like, because now you have a fixed bill. So typically we found that most people in early afternoon sometimes is better to catch you. If we were to swing by, you know, later today or potentially tomorrow, what would work better for you, around a 2 or 3 time? I'm guessing you moved here originally because you got sick of renting and throwing money away, right? Now you own equity in the home, you've built a lot of value. It's the same thing for this. It's to where you gain equity and obviously gain control of your bill. We appreciate you. We'll try to catch you here in a little bit, around 2:45. And if you're around back, we'll shout at you. First door of the day, again, looking for signs of life. The older category, senior citizens, a little tougher. We have a new TPO product coming out, so it'd be perfect, so where they don't have any tax liability.
How long do you typically wait on the doors if they don't come to the door? Is it like 30 seconds, 2 minutes?
30 seconds. I'm trying to listen for footprints or, you know, people not walking, and then kind of do a ghost wave like this, hoping that if they look out a window, I catch them and it holds them accountable to come to the door.
Biggest advice for people for like how to warm up. Obviously we just had our first conversation. We're on our second door now. Do you just say just get into it, or like what are ways that people can get warmed up so that they can go out and smash it during prime time?
Well, I mean, the hardest door is your car door, right? The most important part of door knocking is starting every day the same. So you got to start at 1 o'clock. Get out on the door. I mean, some Saturdays you're starting at 9 to 10 o'clock, right? The most important thing about knocking is consistency. That's it. Like literally, like the hardest door is to getting out of the car and starting. Once you do that, you just have Big Mo on your side after that, right?
What's your tip of the day? Biggest sales tip of the day?
For me, knocking doors, all I'm worried about is the amount of effort I'm putting in. So I'm hustling between doors and just trying to talk to many people, because people are gonna tell me no all day. But it's those 2 or 3 that tell me yes that matters, right? I don't care who you are and how long you've done this job, you're gonna get way more no's than you're ever gonna get yeses. And if you can accept that and let the no's and the people that are pretty stark with you, just let that roll off your back and just continue, you'll be successful.
I mean, you put the smile on your face, you stay grounded, you hit your chest. Do you have any like positive affirmations you tell yourself?
So when I drive out to area, I love watching Kobe YouTube videos.
Me too, yes.
The 4 or 5 minute long videos.
Is Kobe one of your favorites?
Absolutely. Yeah, he puts in the time. He doesn't, no excuses. No matter how good he's done, he's got more work to do tomorrow. And that's how this job is. That's why I like it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, the talents that you have, it's a level playing field. I can't control the kind of day that this person had at the door. I can't control the situation they're in. It's my job to go out there and find the people that are in the situation that are buyers. I don't care how silver-tongued you are or how good you are. you can't convince someone to buy something if they're having a bad day. They just got out of a, like, you never know what could happen, right? 30 people have knocked this door. The timing might be right now for them to listen and understand what I'm doing. I don't do anything crazy. I've done it so many times, it's habit. I'm listening to the person. I'm doing something different than the last. So you'll see I try to pull people away and go over to the meter and explain exactly what we're doing, because I'm a visual learner and people are too. Hey, how's it going, sir? Sorry about you, the homeowner here, I'm guessing. Sorry about you, I know I'm the last person you probably want to see, but I'm following up with the email or letter you should have got about the smart meter rollback plan. Did you by chance get that? So about a year and a half ago, you were probably in this home when that freeze happened. I don't know if you lost power for a couple of days. No, we're not talking about changing a power company or anything, but the biggest thing is since that freeze, they've been working on improving the lines in Texas, so that way most of the residents that lost power, they don't lose it again. And with all the influx of population moving here, they're improving the lines. And so I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, what you were paying on your energy bill 3 years ago isn't the same what you're paying today. And we've heard that from a lot of people, but essentially what we do is your meter, your smart meter, has it been switched out yet? Do you know if it's the analog or if it's digital? They've never switched it out?
No.
Jeez, what version do you have? Do you have the analog 1 or 2? So what we do is we set it up to where that meter, those lines, instead of it counting to the right, there's actually a program that's set up to where those meters can actually run backwards, so it counts backwards. What I do is, my job's really simple. We set it up a time to where we can come back and show you how much money you could potentially save. Because I'm guessing you've seen on some of the homes around here, some of the panels that have been on the homes. Have you seen those before? So essentially what it is your roof, it's not being utilized, and your meter's compatible to be able to take advantage of the program to where the power of the sun, when it hits the panels, it allows your meter to run backwards, and it helps to where your bill is, instead of it going up and down and being all over, it makes it to where it's fixed. So it depends, right? So not everyone's fit for the program, and that's a great question. I don't know, but what we do is very simple. We have an energy consultant that swings by and leaves you with the info. A lot better looking than me. They come by and they leave you with the information. But the hot problem with our job is it's hard to find everyone home. I'm lucky to find you. I'm glad I was able to catch you. But what we'll do is, on your power bill, do you typically get it through email or do you get it through mail? Through email, okay. And what power provider do you currently use? TXU? And then what kind of smartphone do you use? Motorola, okay. Does it look like this? Like, are you able to pull up your email like that? So if you wouldn't mind finding the last one, I'll leave you with the info. So what you do is you just hit search right there and then type in TXU. As far as an appointment goes though, that's the hardest part of our job, is catching people home. Is it typically better to find you early afternoon or later afternoon? So I can put you down for, and I know you might not be here, but if I were to put you down at 1 or 2, which one would work better for you?
No, really, I don't want no panel, no nothing like that.
No, and I get it, right? Because it's obviously it's pretty early on. I'm not saying that that's what you would do. All we're looking for is to leave you with a free information on what the potential savings would be. Because if you could save, because right now your bill's kind of been going up and down, right? I'm sure you've noticed. All we're doing is we make it to where it's a fixed rate, so you don't have to worry about your bill. You know what your next bill's gonna be, so you can actually plan accordingly. That's our whole goal here. But with that being said, the only reason why I get docked and deducted if people aren't able to stop by and just give you with a free, because it's a free quote. With that being said, again, a 1 o'clock or a 2 o'clock, which one would work better? 1 o'clock, okay. I'll put that down. And what was your name? No pressure and all that, but we'll stop by tomorrow around 1 o'clock. We'll try to catch you. If you're not here, totally get it. But again, the only reason why I get docked is if you're not able to be there. So I'll put you down tentatively for 1 o'clock and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Un gusto.
All right, so walk us through what happened there, some of the objections you got, and then how you navigated towards getting that appointment.
I narrowed down how he got his bill.
Yep.
It wasn't paper, it was on his phone. I narrowed down, how he looks it up. Yep. And then I was like, does it kind of look like this? Yep. And then naturally he was like, well, I'll show you. Yep. So it's like, I didn't ask, he did it because I led down those questions to where naturally it's like, that's the next thing, right? Yep. He's gonna show me because we kind of went down that path. Yep. And that's what you kind of want to do. You're never selling, you're bringing up words or saying things to where they naturally do it and they're moving along. Yep. And then you're whole goal is to make sure that you're problem solving, not selling.
Guys, can we please give a thumbs up for John out here knocking with us? I mean, dude, you're literally running all of Texas, right?
Yeah.
Thousands on thousands on thousands of installs and reps and all these different things we got to deal with, and you're out knocking with the Looming Bros, right?
The biggest thing though, like literally guys, I've done this 12 years and I've knocked with the best people. I've sold, you know, in 2020, I sold 205 solar systems that were installed. I've done this a long time, but the biggest thing is notice I get told no. I go through hard times. Every pitch isn't perfect, but it's just the grind. That's the only difference. The guys that succeed at this job are the guys that just literally swallow the bullet, get out on doors on time every day and are consistent. And no matter how many jobs they get, it goes to the next one. Once you get your first one, your first set, once you get your first close, your biggest opportunity is to go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, right? Sorry about, I'm John.
Over,
Do you know the Familia Rodriguez? About 3 doors down?
just like that.
Oh yeah, see, I'm the same way with my neighbors, but the reason we're swinging by is they actually opted in to the smart meter rollback plan. Did you notice on their roof they have some of those panels?
Yeah.
So we're just leaving with the info. What happens is your meter, I'm guessing, is your meter on this side of the house? So what happens on your meter, do you have the analog or the digital one? Has it been the same for quite a few years? Because it kind of depends what version you have. So it kind of depends, I'll show you on it real quick, on the side of your home here.
Come this way a little bit. Come this way. 'Cause
Yes, sir.
Cats come by here and doo-doo, and you don't want to take it all over your car. And my wife been on my ass.
Looks like you have a newer unit. Looks like Encore probably switched that out about 2-3 years ago. So what we do, I'll kind of show you. Hopefully you can see, but see those right down here? See how there's 2 black lines right there? Notice here in about probably 5 to 10 seconds, watch, they're gonna move this way. So what this meter's doing is it's counting the electricity that you have. It looks like you probably hardly have any lights turned on in the home right now. Yeah, it looks like everything's turned off because they're barely moving. But if you'll notice right here in a second, they're gonna jump to the right and it counts what energy you're using. The Rodriguez family, the reason they really liked what we do is this meter, the reason they switched it out is see how they just jumped now to the next section?
I see.
It's counting what you're using. So every 30 days, you get a bill, probably in your email, or do you get it through paper? So you get that bill, right? If you pay it, what happens? You get energy for the next month.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay it, what happens?
I don't have no energy.
Don't have any energy, right? It's that simple. So what we do, and the reason the Rodriguez family really loves it, is this meter's actually capable of running backwards. So these lines, they'll actually go backwards and roll backwards, and you get credit for those panels that are on the roof.
Oh, I see.
And then what happens is they get that paper bill in the mail, and instead of it saying you owe us $130 or $180, it actually has a minus sign and
yeah.
30, 60 bucks, right? So they actually owe you money.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But it doesn't work for everyone, right? So that's the hardest part of my job, is finding roofs that qualify. So I'm pretty new at this, but your roof, how long have you had? It looks like about 10 years. Will's actually one of my managers, but we actually have some people who will come back by and leave you with some information on how solar would look and what kind of savings you would get from it. But as far as what we would do, like on your paper bill, who do you currently use? And then on there, there's usually a little, there it shows you the ESID and the meter number. Does your bill show you that? Well, what we can do, if you don't mind, I can show you on there real quick on what it is. And then that way we can stop by and give you a free quote on exactly what it would run to be able to go solar your savings report. But what it would be is this part of your home specifically, right here, the south part, this is where we'd put the majority of them. And then of course we'd put panels right here on the backside too. And they have a 25-year warranty. But again, I'll get out of your hair because I know you're busy. But again, my hardest part of my job is catching people home. To have someone swing by and give you your savings report like the Rodriguez, the reason why they went is because they saw how much money they were gonna save and more future state, because now they have a bill that's constant. Is it better to catch you in the early afternoon or late afternoon? We'll walk back this way, and while we're walking, I'll grab the info from you and then we'll get out of your hair. But what was your first name? Again, on that bill, there's an ESID number that's on there, and it also depends on kind of what the meter number is. If you wouldn't mind grabbing it, we can wait here for you.
Give me a minute to
Yeah, no, that's fine.
look for it.
We'll wait here for you.
I got mail all over the table.
Is that your Ford Lightning over there? Isn't that a Ford Lightning? That's a good looking truck. That one right there?
Yeah.
That's good looking. Yeah, so it's really simple. All we do is if you flip here on the back side, you're gonna go ahead and hold that. See how it says the ESI number? We get the ESID number and we type it in. And then with the meter number right here, you got your meter number. We just type it in and it shows us what the usage is right here. So it's really, really simple. It's a pleasure to meet you. Again, you said 2 o'clock works a little better for you. The only reason why I get a deduction on my pay and a deduction from my records if you're not able to be here when they stop by. It's not anything crazy. They're gonna take 5 minutes of your time is all. But would 1 or 2 work better for you? I never bring up anything about what I do. Like, I keep the I out of it. I'm all about them. I'm learning about them. Everyone likes to talk about themselves, who they are, where they come from, their experience, what they do. And so you gotta be able to bring that up to them to where it's genuine, not just to try to get the sell. Notice, guys, see all these homes we're passing? Obviously there's no signs of life. I'm not gonna waste my time and energy and my mental capacity on knocking on a door that I know someone's probably not home on. So I'm gonna obviously go where cars and there's signs of life. So there's 2 trucks here. This one may be they're remodeling the home, I don't know. The guy's got a trailer. Yeah, I'll hit it. We'll be real quick, sir, and I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're probably like, who the hell are these guys? But we do the smart meter rollback plan. I don't know if you've gotten a letter in the mail that talked about it. Your meter right now, there's 2 little lines on it, and they actually count what you're using on electricity. What we do is that in that meter rollback plan, it's set up to where your meter can actually run backwards. And I'm guessing if you travel over here on Roosevelt, have you noticed those panels on the Rodriguez home? What we do is we set up a time to show you what your savings report would be. Because we've had a lot of people complaining. The problem is about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, I don't know if you were home during the freeze, when a lot of people's powers went out. I know everyone's mentioned around here that their power actually stayed on. I don't know if yours did, which is amazing. There's been a big issue because all these lines, they're under a lot of pressure. You probably heard how the grid's overpowered. There's too many people moving into the state. So they've been spending a lot of money on building the infrastructure. And so I'm guessing, I'm sure you've noticed over the last 3 years what you were paying 3 years ago. I don't know if you've noticed difference yet.
Yeah, last year went up
a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. So what we do, it's really simple. All we do is we look at it and we say, hey, if you could have a bill that was consistent and you could actually have that meter, the rollback plan, if you could actually have that meter roll backwards and you could actually get credits for the power that your roof's producing from the panels, and you could, instead of, when you get your bill, instead of seeing a 85, 120, or 150, if you could see a negative sign in front of that, that's all we do. It's really simple. Free of charge, you don't have to worry about it. If you like it and it doesn't work for everyone, we go from there. But this is what it looks like. We just show this, like, we just show the top of your home. Let's see how this is a little bit brighter yellow, this is a little darker. That's where the sun hits, right? So it's called sun hours. So we look at how many sun hours each plane gets. So like this part of your home is going to be the best part of it for it. And again, not all homes work for this anyways, but all we do is we plug it in and show you exactly kind of where the panels are. But it doesn't work again for everyone. One thing is you have to own the home, and you do own the home, right? And then one thing that we do verify is between you or your spouse, do one of you have about a 650 or so credit score or somewhere in there? I guess the better question is if you could own your power and potentially have a little bit of a savings and hedge your bet from 5 years from now that instead of your bill doubling, it stays the same. Is that something you feel that you'd potentially use? So solar done right is a no-brainer, right? Like if you go over to the Rodriguez house over across the street on Roosevelt, they've loved it. They've had a great experience. Everything's working. Now, if something was hooked up wrong or something was done incorrectly, then of course, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. If your truck didn't have an engine that works, you're gonna have a shitty experience, right? Because it's not running and going, and it needs to be fixed. So if you had a good experience like the Rodriguez family and you could control your bill, I'm guessing you probably would like the idea of it. But again, the biggest thing is it has to qualify. That's kind of what we'd look for. But in order to do that, what we do is we'd swing back by and try to be able to see if it would qualify for the home and show you what your savings report would be. When's a decent time to try to catch you? What was the address here? And then a good email for you. And then phone number for you, 817? Or no? And then no HOA, right? I know that the other neighbors have said there isn't one. And then currently, what, you said you use what power company again? About like your bill, what would you say your average bill is on it? Have you paid attention to how many kilowatts that you're using? No? So do you get that on an email, I'm guessing? Yeah. So you got that there. And then it's 72, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then last four? J-O-H-N, right? Not J-O-N? The proper way.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Good to meet you.
Yep. All right, guys, that was an awesome knocking session
go.
with John Bankett. I appreciate you so much, bro. I learned
bro.
so many cool word tracks.
Yeah.
Biggest takeaway for me is just building that proposal on the doors, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so quick. That's what the technology is for.
Showing him what the proposal looks like, having him understand a little bit. But then notice he had, like for Gilbert, he asked a lot of buying questions, and I literally was like, yeah, that's a great question. What if I move? That's a great question. I know that it's not too big of an issue, but I'll have so-and-so come back and answer that for you. You don't want to give them too much, because I get asked all the time, they keep telling me that they're not interested or they want to think about it. Well, they're saying that because you're giving too much info, right? Like you just want to give them just enough. And those buying questions, that's a buying question. Leave it for the professional to go back as you learn to be that professional. But the biggest takeaway, the doors are gritty, the doors are nasty, and you gotta love them, dude. If you enjoy the journey, you're gonna be successful at it. And again, the hardest door is your car door. Get out, just face that it's hard. The emotional, the roller coaster everyone goes through, no one's immune to it. Like the people that succeed at this job is they just go past it and push past it, and that's why they're successful.
Lumi Bros!